Now, global information technology company Wipro launched its second internship program in South Africa, which involves the recruitment of graduate students from disadvantaged backgrounds, providing them with specific in-house training and deployment on active projects in the country. What's the importance of these kinds of projects in the IT industry? Here with me to share their views are Shailendra Singh, Business Director for Africa at Wipro Technologies, as well as Thokozo Nyathi, a recent graduate of the program and a current tester at Wipro Technologies. Welcome to you both. Shailendra, now you've just launched your second internship program on the 1st of October. What were some of the lessons from, let's call it season one?
Wow, so I think our lessons were, we were surprised from the season one. We did it in the middle of the year. So our first challenge was that within a span of 2 weeks, are we going to find those 30 graduates who are going to meet our quality criteria? And good news, in about 10 days time, we managed to find 30 graduates who meet our criteria. Second thing is that we were slightly, I would say, nervous in terms of how the whole program is going to go about, what's going to be the output, and we were surprised. We were surprised in terms of the assessment reports which we were getting. So we generally assess most of our graduates on a monthly basis, and we were comparing them with the global scale, not in the South Africa stage. So if you look at, we hire on about 12,000 people every year. Out of that, about 80% people will be graduates. So we're comparing this 30 graduates results with the global results, and on an average these guys were at par or at times better than them. So that was surprise number one. Surprise number two for us was the way the customer has gone ahead and reciprocated in terms of their ability to go ahead and say, yes, we want these people to be working on this project.
Well, Thokozo, you are clearly a man amongst men. I mean, you just heard here some of you, including yourself, compared to some of the best in the world. What was the experience of the graduate program for you, and how has this enriched your career?
So Wipro took me in as one of their interns, and then we went through various trainings, including software testing, which is something that I'm doing now. Like Shailendra said, they choose some of their graduates to go work with one of South Africa's largest banks, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm working at one of South Africa's largest banks as a tester.
Now, how important is in-country, Shailendra, getting these guys together and getting intra-country skills? Because you are multinational, based in India. Why is this such an important factor, not just importing the skills, but empowering locals on the ground?
So, Natascha, I think there are three broad reasons for this. Let me go through them. One, I think it's a part of our global strategy to really increase our localization. Why it is becoming important is that today, if you look at till about 5 years back, we used to have mobiles and primarily used to use it for making calls. That's about it. Nobody had heard about the Facebooks and the Twitter. Today, what is happening in the IT is that IT used to be a back-end functions. But thanks to the social media, the mobility and all those things coming up, IT is now very, very close to consumer, right? So for this environment, what is extremely important is that you need to understand what happens in the local market. You cannot anymore develop something which is standard, because there is nothing called standard now. Consumer behavior changes from province to province, country to country. So as a part of that strategy, we are very, very clearly investing in localization across the globe. Just to give you another example of Africa, not only we have done, based on the success of season one, we have launched 2 parallel internship programs, one in South Africa, second one is in Uganda. We have done that. So our intent is very, very clear. We need local people who understand the local landscape, understand the local behaviors, point number one. Point number two, if you look at, South Africa has a very dire skill shortage. Now that can be addressed in 2 ways, that we bring truckload of people from overseas, but in our belief that's not a long-term solution. Not a long-term solution, because most of the people who come from overseas, they're here for 6 months to a 1 year to 2 years period. Your large program, your sustainability of that depends on a long-term continuity of resources. And that's the second reason why we believe that we are going to develop local talent to take care of the skill shortage requirement. And that local talent is not only going to service South Africans or the African customers, but going to service the global customers. So guys like, Thokozo, our friend, his mandate is very, very clear. While he's working right now on an African customer, but in next 2 years' time, we want him to be working on a global customers, because you need to have a global experience, and we need to bring people, South Africans with a global experience, back to South Africa. So that's why we are investing so aggressively in localization.
Because you are an IT graduate, you've gone through this program. You know, for youngsters, you know, watching this program, thinking of the industry, is this the way to go? Is this a viable career opportunity?
Definitely, I would advise a graduate to apply for Wipro. Like Chandra said again, and when you're working with Wipro, we can get a chance to go abroad to work on projects that are abroad. And yeah, basically, I would advise them to apply for Wipro.
Shailendra, we are running out of time. Now, for your second program, you have doubled the intake from 20 to 40.
Sure.
Are we going to see a bit more female talent this time around? And is there plans to develop more female IT specialists and consumer specialists, as you call them? You have to ask that question.
I would certainly answer that question. I think our belief very, very clearly is that we have created certain benchmark for the people who are going to be coming as a part of the internship, because it's a very, very intensive program.
And tough.
It's a tough program. Second, we are looking for the people who want to make a career in the IT industry or in the process industry. So for us, when we go ahead looking for the resources, we very clearly, go out in the market looking for all profile of people. And our criteria, anybody who meets the criteria, we bring them on board. We would love to see more females. This time, I think, the number of females who are part of the program is much larger. And you will see very, very aggressively next year onward again, we'll be specifically emphasizing in terms of how can we increase those numbers.